Hi, I am Ganesh. Today I am going to talk about basics of carbon footprint. Carbon footprint refers to the total amount of greenhouse gas emissions, particularly carbon dioxide, Colorado 2, released directly or indirectly by an individual, organization, event, or product throughout its life cycle. It measures the impact of human activities on the environment, specifically their contribution to climate change. Understanding the basics of carbon footprint involves considering the sources of emissions and ways to reduce them. Here are some key points. Greenhouse gases, GHGs, carbon dioxide, Colorado 2, is the primary greenhouse gas responsible for climate change. Other significant GHGs include methane, CH4, nitrous oxide, N2O, and fluorinated gases. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere, leading to global warming. Sources of emissions. Carbon emissions can be categorized into two types. A. Direct emissions, Scope 1. These are emissions from sources owned or controlled by an entity, such as burning fossil fuels in vehicles, equipment, or facilities. B. Indirect emissions, Scope 2 and 3. These are emissions generated from sources not owned or controlled by an entity but associated with their activities. Scope 2 emissions include the electricity consumed, while Scope 3 emissions encompass the entire supply chain, including transportation, waste disposal, and employee commuting. Calculation of carbon footprint. To calculate a carbon footprint, the emissions from various sources are quantified and summed. This involves collecting data on energy consumption, transportation, waste generation, and other relevant factors. The calculation often follows international standards such as the Greenhouse Gas Protocol or specific methodologies tailored to a particular context. Carbon offsetting. Carbon offsetting is a method to compensate for emissions by investing in projects that reduce or remove an equivalent amount of CO2 from the atmosphere. These projects can include reforestation, renewable energy generation, or energy efficiency initiatives. Now let's understand about carbon removal. What is carbon removal? Carbon removal refers to any technology or approach that removes CO2 from the atmosphere, then stores it in a way that prevents it from being released back into the atmosphere. Carbon removal is important because it can help us combat climate change by reducing the overall concentration of atmospheric greenhouse gases. There are several different carbon removal methods, including direct air capture. This technology involves capturing CO2 from the air and storing it underground. Bioenergy with carbon capture and storage, BECCS. This approach involves burning biomass, plant material, to generate energy, then capturing and storing the resulting CO2 emissions. Enhanced weathering. This method involves spreading crushed rocks over agricultural land or other open spaces. The rocks then react with CO2 in the atmosphere to form new minerals, which are stored in the ground. Each of these methods has its own advantages and disadvantages, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution to carbon removal. How does carbon removal impact our planet and our future? Carbon removal can help mitigate climate change and its various effects, including rising sea levels, more extreme weather events, and loss of wildlife habitats. It can also help improve air quality and water resources, as well as create new economic opportunities, such as jobs in developing and deploying carbon removal technologies. There are many organizations around the world working to remove carbon from the atmosphere through a variety of methods, including planting trees, preserving and restoring forests, and creating green infrastructure. How to reduce your carbon footprint. Understanding the impact of your carbon footprint is an important step toward reducing greenhouse gas emissions, one of the leading causes of climate change. The good news is that there are many ways to reduce your carbon footprint and contribute to a more sustainable future. While some people advocate for reducing society's reliance on fossil fuels and transitioning to 100% renewable energy, others believe that even making small changes in our everyday lives will add up in big ways. For example, individuals can start by making simple lifestyle changes, such as conserving energy, recycling, and choosing environmentally friendly products.